to me. It's so nice to see. Thank you. Hey, welcome everybody out in podcast land. Welcome everybody here at the beautiful Perco's Lounge. We're here for our monthly SacNORML meeting. For those of you who, actually, let me see, who's here for the first time? Those of you who've been here for the first time. Okay, so these are all of our first timers. I don't want to embarrass anybody. I just want to ask, who brought you? Steve Cubby. And I believe John brought Steve Cubby. So John gets, there's Steve Cubby. And we're going to introduce Steve Cubby in a minute. But I just want to make sure that Sue, you realize that John Lee is going to get bonus tickets for these 3 new people who came here, Steve and Corey and Jen. All right, and then back here, lady in the exotic dress, the Egyptian, and we're just interested in who brought you here. Brought yourself? You get your own bonus tickets for bringing yourself. Bringing yourself. You get bonus tickets yourself. And you, sir? Okay, so Richard, you mean? Richard gets bonus for your visit. Okay, so does that take care of all the new people? Any other? Yes, sir. Oh, Anthony. Anthony brought a guest. Welcome, sir. So Anthony, Sue, where'd Sue go? Sue, oh, also Anthony, bonus tickets. All right, so we're just rewarding people that bring new people to our center. What? Pardon? Oh, yes, but you need to talk to Gandalf. Excuse me, Ron Mullins. You need to speak to Gandalf about that, and we'd love to have you as new members. Okay, so anyway, welcome to all of you first-timers. I'm Granddaddy Mike. I'm just kind of the MC here. They put me up here to be lead eagle for a little while. I want to welcome everybody to this meeting and let everybody here, especially for the first time, know that we are broadcasting this meeting out into a podcast, so it does go out into the public, right? So if you don't want what you say public, don't say it into the microphone, or don't say it very loud. The rest of us, we've learned here to be out and loud, and that's kind of what this meeting is about. If you look around you, this is the activist cannabis community here in Sacramento. We are the people that go out and demonstrate on the Capitol lawn. We are the people who continue to believe and take pride in the fact that California grows the best marijuana in the world and the most marijuana in the world, and we're here to replace reefer madness with reefer gladness. Okay? So one day at a time, we're in the process of participating in a great social experiment, right? We are bringing enlightenment, healthfulness, wellness, to our society, and healing. Thank you. Thank you, Molly, for helping with that. That's our basic agenda. We meet monthly. We have a raffle. The raffle is basically to raise money to support our efforts. So, Sue, I got $20 up here to buy more raffle tickets than anybody else, and you all know what that means. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Boomer. Thank you, Boomer. $25 worth of tickets. So we all know the more tickets you buy, the more chances you have of winning one of our great raffle prizes. Okay? So don't make me have to pump you too often. Sue here, this is Sue. Sue, turn around and wave to everybody. Sue is selling raffle tickets. You simply have to call out her name when she's circulating around, and Sue will sell you raffle tickets. Okay, and later we're at the end of this meeting, we're going to raffle off some great prizes. So I encourage you. It's a good deal. It's a gamble. It's a little bit of excitement, and pretty much everybody kind of swaps out afterwards anyway. So, good luck with that. But realize your luck increases with every ticket that you buy. So do yourself a favor, increase your odds, buy a lot of tickets, and help us raise some money here. All right. That said, I'm gonna first introduce our executive director. And one of the oldest stoned characters in contemporary literature. Here we have Gandalf. Gandalf has a few words he'd like to say. Ron Mullins.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you guys for coming. I want to thank everybody who helped put this together. Hi. I want to give a thanks to 1841, who sponsored Henry Hemp, who flew all the way from LA, who has been great fun to hang out with today. And we did some comics with some patients at 1841, and he's going to be helping us with the panel discussion, and then of course the costume contest after the panel discussion. I guess Mike's going to moderate, so he'll lay down the ground rules. I only have one announcement. Team Canna Life, which is our cannabis activist group that joins walks and stuff, that did the Out of Darkness walk, and we raised about $700, but we have like enough to make more in these shirts that was donated by 1841 also. And if you guys can afford a shirt, all that money is going straight to Out of Darkness Suicide Walk, where we all went. And I wanted Betty to tell everybody, but I guess she couldn't make it. Maybe she's podcasting. Hi, Betty. And so we all went and walked, and we passed out flyers about how cannabis helps with mental illness and other problems that lead to suicide. So that was great. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Ron. So I want to just take a minute and acknowledge some folks that we have here today. And when I mention your name, if you just make a gesture, there are people here who want to know who I'm talking about. And if I just point to you and they don't know who it is, then they'll come up to me afterwards and say, "Who is that guy over there?" All right. So and this is by way of I just want to acknowledge some folks that we have here tonight. Tell you a little bit about them, so that later, if you have an opportunity, you want to socialize or take a break, you'll know who's available. I got to start with one of the most important people, and that is Keith Mr. Wise over here, who keeps our podcast up and handles the mechanics of the sound and all of that broadcast stuff. And so we want to acknowledge him. He's been doing this for months, and we haven't really ever formally introduced him. So Keith. Secondly, yes, Gandalf did introduce Henry Hemp. Henry Hemp is going to be help me moderate this Unity panel that we're going to have, and he's also going to be one of the judges for the costume contest that starts at 8:30. I see some of you have taken advantage and actively participated in the invitation to do the costume thing. So thank you so very much. This is really a colorful-looking crowd. I mean, y'all really do look great. So just a little story about Henry. Excuse me, Henry, I don't want to embarrass you, but I'm going to. About 4 years ago, one of the first HempCon Cups that was held at the Cow Palace in San Francisco was co-produced by the folks at Bang Chocolates and Cheryl Schumann, right? And there were a number of us, hundreds of people there that had, paid a lot of money for the booths and whatnot. And some of us that were kind of close to our community and the movement thought it was really hypocritical for these people to come in and hold this event and not have any place on site where we could consume cannabis. There was no place. I mean, they wouldn't let us smoke in the parking lot. They wouldn't let us smoke outside. They wouldn't let, there was no area where we could go and consume cannabis. And some of us thought that that was really kind of hypocritical. So this kind of covert, low-down movement started at 4:20. At 4:20 in the afternoon, we're just going to take over. We're just all going to blaze up, right? What are they going to do, right? Let's just change the culture here. We'll just all light up at 4:20. And then when the voice of moderation came in, and we thought, no, well, we'll at least go outside of the building, right? We'll go outside of the building in the parking lot, but at 4:20, everybody's going to go outside of the building in the parking lot and light up, blaze up. And it'll be an act of, defiance, civil disobedience, nonviolent. We're just going to light up, no big deal, right? Well, word got to Henry, and Henry says, I'm going to lead it, right? Henry, he's going to lead it. So it didn't stay on the and at fakes them. I'm here on site, right? Microphone. Henry and coming to get you right now. So Henry. Betty, I'm sorry, Jen is not coming to get you right now. So, so next thing I know, excuse me. Next thing I know, Cheryl Schumann up on stage with the microphone is being upstaged by Henry, standing on top of the leather couch over in the bang booth, right? And the two of them are going back and forth about whether or not we're going to actually go outside. And I know that just to skip to the end, the final upshot of that is Henry, since that time, has never been allowed in a bang booth at any event. But his heart is in the right place, and he's willing to be out front. And I'm sure he'll talk to us more about bolts of positive energy. And he's quite a spiritually centered man. So I'm privileged to have him here and to help me moderate this panel later tonight. I'm not going to, excuse me, yeah, right. I'm not going to take as long. Hey, let me give my one. Okay, yeah, Henry Hemp. Henry Hemp. Stand up on the chair, Henry. Henry Hemp. Henry Hemp. Thank you. Everybody knows Henry now. John Lee is here representing MCLR, and he'll be on our panel in a few minutes. I want to acknowledge our youngest member, right? Back here over in the corner, we have Anthony and Patricia and their new baby, Belladonna. So Belladonna is our youngest member, and she's blessedly asleep at this time. Congratulations. Steve Cubby is here with us. I'm gonna ask Steve to come up and speak a little bit later, but right now I just want you to realize room that has ever directed a campaign and raised the funds for a successful initiative in the state of California. Okay? So Steve and Dennis Perrone, 215. If you don't know the history, gosh, you should educate yourself, because we owe a lot to pioneers in the field, and Steve Cubby is certainly one of them. Also, I know he won't mind if I could give a little plug for his company, Cush Inc. Okay, and you wanna look for their new lozenge. They have a medicated lozenge coming out. But I'm not promoting any cannabis product specifically, and I don't want to have a civil rights suit by somebody who I failed to mention. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm only introducing it because he happens to be here, and he's going to be speaking a little bit later. Also want to acknowledge some people who came all the way from down in the Santa Cruz area here. We have Kevin Saunders and Nobia Montserrat, excuse me, here. Excuse me, I'm trying to get systematically around the room here, Molly, if you don't mind. Back in the corner, we have Robin Hood, Don Duncan, yes. He's not here tonight to steal from the rich and give to the poor, right? But as many of you know, Don's very active with Americans for Safe Access, and has done a lot of work lobbying in Sacramento for cannabis rights. Dale Geringer is here. Dale is Executive Director of SacNORML and very active with the Reform Cal Group, and he will be joining John up on the panel in a little while to talk about initiatives and initiative progress. If I miss somebody, you know, please don't blame me. I'm just trying to kind of skip over. Molly Fry, recently released. Yes. Kent. And for those of you who didn't notice, yeah, her husband Dale back here. And Dale, raise your hand so people can see you. Right. So these are people who, unfortunately, you know, have suffered from the prohibition and the restrictions of mostly the federal government on our industry. And I would not call them martyrs, but they are certainly, because I wouldn't want to so label them, but certainly there are people that have been wounded and damaged by this process. And so our hearts and wishes go out for them to have, you know, some healing now that they're back out in the community with the rest of us. Okay, with that, I'm going to move on. You know, I feel like calling out just character names of people that are in costumes here. But we're going to have the costume contest later, so we'll have an opportunity to do that. Any of the board members have any short, brief announcements that we need to make? Kim, Richard, anything? Kim Cargile is going to take the microphone. In respect for the people that we have at home on the podcast who otherwise won't be able to hear what she has to say. Kim Cargile.
So I just wanted to say that SacNORML got a letter from the Board of Equalization to all growers and sellers of medical cannabis. So I just wanted to read this to everyone and let everyone know that this is what they're saying in case you didn't get a letter. So it says, if you sell medical cannabis, the law requires you register with the Board of Equalization for a seller's permit. This includes growers and dispensaries. You can register for a seller's permit on our website using our online registration system or in person at any of our field offices. There is no cost to obtain a seller's permit. Once you're registered, you must also file sales tax and use tax returns and pay any tax due. If you do not file timely returns, you may be subject to penalties and interest. Sales and use tax returns are filed using our online system. It says, what sales are subject to tax? In general, all retail sales of medical cannabis are taxable. However, sales to your customers that resell medical cannabis in the regular course of business are not subject to tax. Your sales are presumed to be at retail unless your customer timely provides you with a valid resale certificate that you accept in good faith. So basically, farmers don't have to pay sales tax, but you have to get a permit and file, and then give your permit to the dispensary that you're selling to, and then the dispensary will pay the sales tax. But this has been sent out to all growers and sellers of medical cannabis, so I just wanted to make sure everyone knows about it. No. You just register online, get your seller's permit, and then you give that seller's permit to whatever dispensary that you provide to. And then you file your taxes wholesale. It'll be a wholesale license, and the dispensaries would be retail. We got that in the mail. It's the first only thing we've ever gotten in the mail.
Right. So there is a way to register and be regulated. Here we go. Yeah, we'll try and make this letter available on the SacNORML website. That's a very good idea.
Okay.
We can and we'll get that out in the community. Yes. How long to comply?
It doesn't say actually. I'm sorry. It doesn't say here. They actually passed the law, I think, in 2005, right, Don? Wasn't it? Yes. Okay. The sooner the better. State. State sales tax. This is a state organization, and they're one of our biggest supporters, of course, because they want money.
All right. I know we're all going to waiting with eager anticipation for the panel discussion, but first I want to invite Bob Bowerman to come up and say a few words. Many of you know Bob was very active in the initial organization of this organization, SacNORML, and has recently, for some health concerns, taken a short hiatus and turned control over to the rest of us who've been doing a great job. And Bob is recovered enough so that we're privileged to have him join us tonight. So a few words from Bob Bowerman, ex officio director of SacNORML. Bob.
Thank you, thank you, and thanks everyone for being out here. Just a couple of real quick things because you got a real jammed up night and it's gonna be exciting. Is this working? Okay, good enough. Um, there's, is it doing? There, okay, how's that? Okay, anyway, there's just a whole lot of things going on out there, and for the last uh, almost 3-4 months, I've been pretty well horizontal and just kind of recuperating and getting some health back, which also put me on social medias a lot more than I normally would be. So, I'm watching a lot of things happening all over the place from a lot of different points of view. And it's pretty interesting, but it's also pretty scary. One of the big things that I've seen out there going on is kind of a hatred type thing against, let's see, normal's been mentioned, ACE has been mentioned a few times, almost as many as normal. And the thing is that people are blaming everybody for 266 and for everything bad that's happening. And I'm watching this and I'm going, someone's not understanding something here. These people that are in there working to make the changes are coming in for free, and they're not the sponsors of the bills. Okay, they're not the ones that wrote the bills. They're the ones that are actually taking their time trying to make these bills a little better. And it's kind of hard to do when the main sponsor is the California Police Chiefs Association or the League of Cities. I mean, they kind of, when they came up to the table with this bill, they had something very definite in mind. And guess what? What we got is not it, thanks to the people that have been out there busting their tails. So we need a little help out on the social medias, okay? When you see this, people going, well, ASA did this, Normal did this, and they caused the sky to fall and that, and 266 this, and okay, without arguing, because we don't need to do that. That's not going to help either. But let them know. These are not the people that wrote the bill. These are the people that stepped up to the plate to help us so we get at least something halfway decent. So without them, you should have seen the very first draft of back then. It was what, 1262? I mean, anyone that saw that in the early days, you want to talk about something scary? So personally, I want to say thank you to each and every one of those lobbyists, paid or not paid, that were out there doing this. And they're catching a lot of crap, and they're human. They got feelings, okay? They're not asking for help. I'm asking for it for them, okay? Talk to your friends. Squirm away. Look, support the effort. You don't have to support everything they do. Nobody does that. But support the effort, okay? And that's all we're saying. These are heroes. They really are. And the other quick thing, everybody in here is a hero. There's no question about that. But the other thing that I want to talk about real quick is we've got 11 billion initiatives out there to legalize cannabis next year. We have two, in my personal opinion, and I can I'm not representing normal. This is I can say this now because I'm independent. Okay. There are a half a dozen initiatives out there. I think about 3 more are coming that I've been hearing about. And there, in my personal opinion, there are 2 initiatives out there that have got a shot of making it. MCLR, which yes, that's I admit that's my favorite too. But I'm also going to support Reform California. There are things in Reform California that I didn't like, but you know what? They'll change them. They'll work on them. There are things in MCLR that I didn't, and I was a proponent last year of that. So I'm like real close with that. That is the one for me. Okay, but I'm going to support both of them. Now, here's the thing: if you like either one of them, you really need to do more than just talk about it. Okay, because there's another big initiative coming up here real soon, and that from some folks over in Simi Valley. And guess what? They got the money, and we won't mention DPA's name or any of those big guys, okay, that are involved with them. We don't need to mention them, do we? But if you think, here's the thing: if you don't get behind one of these 2 initiatives with some cash, $10 a month, $5 a month, whatever you can do, they're not going to make it to the ballot. Both of them are grassroots. Both of them need help. And if you don't do that, then the initiative that's going to come in and sweep it next year is going to be a DPA thing, okay? So it's your choice, and it's the choice of not just you, but talk to your friends, because what are you supposed to do out there is every day have a positive cannabis conversation with someone you don't know. Talk to everybody. Get behind these things. Do more than talk about it. Pitch in $10. Pitch in whatever in the world you can, because if you don't, you're not going to have a choice on what's going to legalize. We are going to legalize next year. I'm quite sure of that, okay? But it's up to us what we're going to be legalized. The other thing I'm throwing out there, and when it happens, I'm going to jump on it big time, is whoever makes it to the ballot first, one initiative for next year, please. The others really do need at that point to stand down and get behind it. It's not about egos. It's not about whose name's on it. It's about us in California, okay? And a lot of people don't like that. But that's the way it really has to be. One initiative next year. But who's going to get there first? That's up to you guys, okay? If you want MCLR, do something about it. Give them some money, $10. Everyone can do that, almost everyone, okay? And then talk to your friends about doing the same thing, because now is when both groups really need the money. And if it's grassroots, that means it's coming from you guys and me and us, not Big Valley. Okay? So thanks a lot. And every day, go out and have a positive cannabis conversation with someone you don't know.
Thanks, Bob. Bob Bowerman, folks. All right. Well, moving right along. I'm going to ask Steve to come up and say a few words to us. Steve has lived through this experience. Steve has some old school wisdom to share with us. And believe me, he looks great for his age. He's got a lot of longevity behind him. Let's give a warm welcome to Steve Cubby and invite his gravitas.
You guys are sick. I mean, just looking at you, you guys are just like gone over the top, just like I am. So I feel really good to be in front of this group. I'm really glad to see Molly again. It's really good to see you. And Dale, I salute you. You made it. I want to share with this group what happened with the 215 campaign, because when we first got started, everybody hated us. Ed Rosenthal wrote an editorial predicting that we would fail. everyone just was down on us, and we were considered kooks. The term medical marijuana, not even sleazy tabloids would use the term medical marijuana. And so I just want you to understand, when we started out, we had all this acrimony and suspicion, and even Jack Harrer wouldn't support us. He said we were undercutting the validity of real legalization. But once we actually qualified for the ballot, everything changed. All the people that hated us were suddenly our long lost friends and really pitched in and really helped us. So, uh, it always uh, bothers me whenever any of us criticize anyone else in our movement, because I really believe the worst member of our movement is still infinitely better than the people that are trying to put children in cages and putting people in prison for a plant. It's just insane. So obviously, we want to be kind and respectful and have mutual respect for each other. But let's face it, we come from different places and we have different opinions about what our idea of legalization really is. I hear this new term, legal lies. Legal lies versus legalizing. You know, I mean, there is a lot of lies that are coming down that people are saying, well, this is legalization. No. If you can't go out that night on the street and smoke a doob in public, it's not legalization. And I object to the notion that we owe the government anything. I believe that the Timothy Leary case clearly established that you're violating your Fifth Amendment rights to self-incrimination when you tell the government, I'm growing weed, and this is how much, and this is what I got paid, because the federal government can just come right behind that and convict you. So the whole point of the Supreme Court decision was that the government cannot force you to testify against yourself, which you are doing when you pay a tax. And I've confronted the tax people here over and over again. And they say, well, you don't have to indicate what you're actually growing. You just have to fill out all these forms that say cannabis, 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 cannabis. So, I mean, I'm probably more radical than a lot of people in this group, but I say fuck the government. And fuck the whores that are trying to tax us. They should be paying us. They should be paying out reparations. But I don't want to. I came here with one message. Yes. So let me just say that we've got to be good to each other. We've got to have mutual respect for each other. But it's a war. We have different ideas about what legalization is and what legalization is not. And now is the time to push your initiative that you believe best represents you. And what happens? Oh my God. What if we have 2 initiatives? What if we have 3 initiatives? What if we have 4 initiatives on the ballot? I'm going to vote for every goddamn one of them, and the one that gets the most votes is going to be the one that we go by. So right now, we do want to have mutual respect. We don't want to. There's some things that have been going on that just really make me sick. There were some attacks that went down against Dennis Perone, a true hero, someone that carries bullet fragments in his leg from the same Gregory Corrales that led this bogus raid on Dennis and tried to stick these horrible sexual. I mean, Dennis has trouble getting up and down the stairways now, and they're trying to paint him like he's some. It's not even worth talking about. But the thing is, that cannot happen in our group. We got to show mutual respect for each other. We can disagree. Dale and I have disagreed many times, but I think he knows that I have the utmost respect for his work and for what he's done for all of us. And I salute you for that, Dale. So my company, Cush, just made a commitment to donate $1 for every lozenge that we sell. We've got a lozenge that activates in 5 to 15 minutes. There's nothing like it on the marketplace. Everybody loves them. We're getting help from the MCLR group in getting this out. We're going to respond by giving $1 back to the campaign. I'm also going to go to my multimillionaire friends about investing in this initiative because I think the MCLR is clearly the best initiative. But if there's more than one initiative on the ballot, I don't see a problem with that. I think we can vote comfortably for other initiatives as well. And secondly, I think that the takeaway from 215 is that we had terrible acrimony, and we had people doing demonstrations. I remember Scott Imler, unfortunately, came up and did a demonstration against us. Scott came on board later on. Everyone came on board later on. So the important thing to understand is that, yeah, there's some hard feelings and things that are going on right now, but we are really all the same tribe. We all have the same desire to see the right thing happen. And I think we can support each other, and I think let the best initiative win. And right now, I think that initiative, thanks to the work of Granddaddy Mike and this whole group, I think what MCLR has done really offers real protection for people. I think that a lot of people don't understand the initiative process. Initiatives are not like laws. Laws are codified, they follow certain rules. Initiatives push rights into a new realm. Initiatives create new realities for people. And an initiative, in my opinion, should always have at least one thing on it that's a throwaway. Like, wow, if we could get that, that'd be cool, but if we don't get it, there's a severability clause, so it doesn't matter. So I like to see initiatives that push the limits for our freedom. For example, with driving. I smoke weed when I drive. And I venture to guess that just now it's kind of bad because I just totaled my test stuff. But it was not my fault. I am blameless. I got hit by someone else, and I was lucky to be in the safest car in the world when I did get hit. And even though I'm still in pain, I'm here because you guys are what matters in my life, and I'm thrilled just to be here with you. But we're safe drivers. We don't need blood tests, urine tests, hair tests. I mean, either you're messed up or you're not. And if you're not messed up, then get someone else. Get someone that is real. I mean, if someone is so out of control that they can't operate their car, we're doing them a favor to take them off the road. But we know that that's not what goes on. The cops pull us over. They smell weed. They want to write us up. They want to give us a blood test. MCLR is the only initiative that I'm aware of that protects our right to drive safely and consume a beneficial herb at the same time. So I think this initiative is brilliant. I think Granddaddy Mike and John Lee, I think what they're doing is brilliant. I support it, and I just want to do one more thing before I get off the line here. I want to introduce my general manager, Corey. If you come up, just stand up. Corey is really doing a great job with our company, Cush, and you're going to hear a lot of things about Cush. We're doing. I'm working with Dr. David Allen. I thought he was going to be here tonight, but it turns out that cannabinoids trigger adult stem cells to produce new brain cells, new heart cells, and the Chinese are leading the way on this. We're going over all their research. So Cush is going to be pushing cannabis as regenerative medicine. And doing that, Jen has been a friend of mine for about 10 years. When I first moved to Tahoe, she followed me to Tahoe, and I saw her employer beg her on her hands and knees to come back, but she had other plans. But she's going to be heading up our sales effort, and I'm really proud of the job that Jen has done in the past, and I know she's doing a great job now. Okay.
Thank you so much, Steve Covey, folks. All right. Well, that was enlightening, illuminating, little bit about the process of doing this. So I want to move into the panel now, and I want to first invite Dale Geringer. Dale Geringer is here. I'm sure he'll be happy to tell us, but briefly going to say. Representing SacNORML, and for purposes of this panel, the Reform Cal Initiative. And then Henry, if you come up and take the second chair over next to Dale, you're going to help me moderate this panel, right? Henry is going to monitor the spiritual level of the interaction of the panelists and give us some comments on that. And then Debbie Tharp. Debbie Tharp is going to be here. She's going to be talking with us about the constitutional amendment that she's drafting. And then I'm going to sit here, and we need one more chair, please, up here at the table for John Lee. Actually, we can just take this chair, John. And John will be representing, here, Gandalf's got a better chair. Yes, it's got a match. It's good for the photo. Okay, so while we're getting our panelists up here in front so we can take advantage for this commercial break to wave all of these raffle tickets around, putting around, and happy to redeem your greenbacks for a chance to win at the raffle. I also, even though I know he's so busy in the other room, want to acknowledge that Hezekiah Allen, late of the Emerald Growers Association and currently of the California Growers Association, has joined us, and he will be here as a judge for part of the costume contest. So if you haven't already, let me just give you a clue. He's dressed as an earlier version of himself. Okay, so introduce yourself to Hezekiah. He's now 20 years old and just loving having been reborn. And then I'm going to move over here and take my space. And we've got 2 microphones, and we're just going to have to manage microphones in front of folks. Excuse me. All right, so now we're getting arranged here. So once again, just briefly, we have Dale, Henry, myself, Mike, we have Debbie, and John. And what we're hoping to do tonight is to focus on focus on the theme that we have talked about a number of times, and now we're in a position where we maybe could actually exercise a little bit more movement towards unity among these different initiatives. So we have 3 different ones represented up here today. And in the interest of unity as a theme, I wanted to start by asking each representative to first tell us 2 things that they like best about the other initiatives. So without talking about your own, please tell us what you like best about the other initiatives. Dale?
Well, that's a good question. I like the fact that the MCLR has a commission doing the regulation. I think that's a really good way to go, and we picked up on that ourselves, actually. I think that was a good idea. You know, I like the idea that there shall be no drug testing of anybody, but I don't think that's going to sell with the voters. But I do think, but it's a good idea anyhow. There's nothing in MCLR I wouldn't support. I think the question is about the rest of the people of California. Um, and constitutional amendment, yes. I haven't had time to review. Uh, I don't believe. Which initiative are we talking about here?
You,
Which
Dale,
one?
you have the mic.
I mean, no,
I'm
you asked
open.
me to say something good
Uh,
about, and I want to make sure
yeah.
which initiative we're talking about
Well,
here. Is
you
this
can
the
talk about
constitutional
whichever
right to medical
initiatives, whether
cannabis?
they're represented
If it's a
here or not.
constitutional right to medical cannabis, I support that, and we do everything we can in our initiative to support patients' rights. Okay. Yes, bars state and local laws restricting patients' ability to obtain, cultivate, or transport medical marijuana. I do think we need stronger patients' rights. That's really important, and I endorse that.
Is that all?
Yeah. You asked me
Okay.
what I liked in the other initiatives, right? Or do you want me to talk about my initiative? I'm happy to
Well,
talk about.
Yeah.
Breathe, relax,
I
think
think
positive thoughts.
yeah, I think the
You
exercise
answered.
here
You
is
answered.
yeah, I think the exercise here is initially to talk about what you like about others' initiatives as a step towards unification, right? I mean, presumably there are other
Well,
people.
okay.
You can talk,
All
Dale,
right.
as
Well,
well about.
I
Excuse
think
me. Excuse me. You can also talk about CCHI. You can talk about any of the initiatives that you're aware of that have things in them that you like.
Well, it's really important that we make it real clear that adults should be able to use and buy and sell and uh, have with a license sell and grow for personal use marijuana. It's really important. We've got to have the same rights as Americans have to drink alcohol and have guns and do all sorts of weird sex. These are fundamental rights, and I think we all agree on that. And I think all of our initiatives do that. So that's really important, and that's essential. And I know that rights for medical marijuana patients were especially important for us in the Reform CA initiative. As you know, I was involved in Prop 215.
Actually,
and
we're jumping ahead on the
okay,
agenda.
okay, sorry.
Initially, we were
I
just
don't know
at
what
this
I'm
point.
supposed to talk about. Okay, you control me.
No, I'm just
You
trying
actually
to stay.
downloaded from the universe. You're a positive soul, and they're going to take some turns, and you got out your noises and sound.
Yeah, in the next step of this unifying process, after we've complemented the other documents, we'll talk about our own.
I think that your question was difficult because we need a piece of paper here to tell everybody at least what the name of each initiative is so they understand, and then they can look at that piece of paper, because some people, because they're so passionate about their own initiative, they actually forget what the other initiatives are. And the one common thing of the whole thing is all of them are based on some sort of marijuana legalization, and that's what I like about all of them.
All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you, Dale. Debbie, would you like to comment on the other initiatives, things that you like about them?
I can't do much on all of them. I've had to do so much reading just to adjust. To be honest, okay, well, the things that I like, do you still have the plant counts taken out of MCLR? Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So, and that changed. It's like a living document, so it keeps changing. So I'm just trying to keep up with it as it goes. The fact that it's open source is the same thing that I've been pitching to everybody else. Even though I'm not even a proponent of it, yeah, we'll talk about that. And but the fact that it's a lot to read and it's a lot to absorb, but you have to take a comprehensive approach to what we're about to do. So it's morphed into something that is more and more freedom oriented. Just like I said, when the plant counts got lifted, that's a great change to the document. It's wonderful. So I love CCHI because it's simple. It's got the hemp component. That's very, very important. I think we forget that, and hemp should be part of our industry in California, although maybe in the South where the good weed's being grown in the North. And then, just saying, yeah. And then, Reform California, I'm just now starting to try to, wrap my head around everything that's going into this. So I can't answer to that yet. I will be able to, and everybody knows me how vocal I'll be. But you know what? There will be good things to pick out of it. And that's the thing. I'm starting to see, what we forget, and I forget it all the time too, and I'm really guilty of this. And I have apologies to make to a lot of people right now, to be quite frank, because I put people on the burner just as much as they put me on the burner. And the fact is we've got a way bigger boogeyman out there than each other. And sometimes we forget, I forget, everybody else forgets. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty. It's time to get these things qualified, and there's going to be some people with some huge money coming into California that want to turn this into a corporate endeavor that's going to leave each and every one of us out of it. And, it's time for me to choke on my mea culpa, shut the hell up, quit bitching, and help everybody else and everybody else to do the same thing too. So I wrote the Constitutional. It's a really short, tiny thing. It just says, screw you, weed is legal for the patients. And that's a reminder, this is not a legalization initiative. We need one of these legalization initiatives to pass. We have to have that.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Um, and next, John Lee from MCLR. Tell us what you like about the other initiatives.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
And try and refrain from speaking about your own at this time, or I'll have to censure you just like I did Dale.
Yes, sir. I take direction well. First of all, I looked at the invitation, so I cheated. I saw who was going to be here. So I knew what other initiatives I was looking at, so I actually made some notes. I cheat that way, and it's the only way, because Debbie and everybody said it. We're all working so damn hard and working twice as hard as us, and I don't even remember my phone number. Again, so as says, many people have said here tonight, and I've been fortunate to come up here before. We're working towards unity and cooperation, and I appreciate Granddaddy's question initiatives, if you don't mind approaching that area, Dale. So I think that's good work in that regard. We all appreciate that. Also, in regard to the tiered licensing, we've all looked at that concept for a while now, and that's played out over the years here now, and it's many of our efforts. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that about their effort. It's certainly just overall a well-constructed effort. That comes from me learning through these years about what it takes to do this, and there's difficulties in all of them, and we all look at it a different way. But overall, I appreciate the general construction of it, and the same thing Dale's commented for us, and we appreciate, was the commission concept. We do understand that, and I appreciate that Dale also recognizes the value of that type of commission structure. Effort. For CC, and quite frankly, the root of MCLR at one time was based around CCH. Even though we started out as a blank sheet and a blank document, and it goes all the way back to almost to the day, 2-3 years ago in San Jose, when Dale and I apologize if I don't remember, Dale Sky, I think, was there, and Lanny Swirtle and others, and we attempted to begin what we're still doing and coming to some cooperative language. At the time, we were hoping to get on to 14, but that didn't happen. So going back to those days, even then, CCHI, the basic, we've always appreciated that, I think, in all our efforts. Position projections, they made some good comments in there over the years too, so I've always enjoyed that one piece of the language. And then the no non-commercial taxes, I think we can all appreciate that one out of CCHI too. And I apologize, I didn't know if Omar or Heather were here, and I was going to comment about the California Craft initiative that Omar Figueroa and Heather Burke addressed. So is that appropriate, Granddaddy, although they're not represented on the panel? Well, it's somebody that we did unify, fortunately, with, and I did actually speak to Omar today, and so he approved my. Figueroa and Heather Burke wrote the cannabis craft or the California Craft Cannabis Initiative, and I think he was one of the first growers. The genetic depository, including that information in the initiative, was obviously something we appreciated. The commission mentioning the Cannabis Commission, and then of course creating no new crimes. And I'm comfortable to say at this point we took that to heart in MCLR. We adopted the language of the Artisan Grower Initiative into ours, and Omar Figueroa and Heather Burke have confirmed again today that they are proponents. So that's the object of unity that we've been striving for a long time. So we're proud of being able to collaborate with Heather and Omar. And then, thank you. And then, so the last item was the constitutional amendment with Debbie here. And seriously, what's the obvious one? It's short, it's downloadable, it's the future of these kinds of concepts. So as initiative processes move forward, you can't deny the fact that if it's done properly, one not being able to have somebody download an initiative and print it out is a good move. So we appreciate that. The fact that it's a constitutional amendment, just that alone, although the struggles behind it and the challenges behind it, the end result is something that we can all appreciate. And then also, the cannabis is a legitimate alternative medical treatment, and making that point clear. Thank you for making sure and making so that was said in there. So, how's that, Grandy? Okay?
I'm happy with it if you are. Okay, next, I'd like to go through the panel one more time. Next question is, what unique about your initiative, not in any other initiative, do you most think is important to be included in any unified initiative? Go ahead, Dale.
I'm not sure that there is anything unique in any initiative, to tell you the truth. They all have sort of similar provisions mixed around. I think the important thing about our initiative is actually that the campaign is a very professional campaign. We have hired Jim Gonzalez, who led the Prop 215 campaign here in California, is working on our campaign. We have Joe Trippi, who many of you may have seen on CNN and elsewhere, a nationally known political consultant who first came to fame raising money for Howard Dean's presidential campaign by crowdsourcing. So we knew he had a real understanding of this crowdsourcing thing, and we hired him to put together a crowdsourcing database, reformca.com, which I hope you guys will check into, that has grown to 80,000 active people in California and over 100,000 nationwide to make this campaign happen. And we hired a nationally respected law firm, Manat, Phelps and Phillips, to actually write legal language for us because we thought it was important to have outside expertise. Manat is specifically expert in writing regulatory kinds of initiatives, and there's a lot of regulation involved in this, and we all know about criminal law in the marijuana movement. We don't know so much about regulation, so we brought in that outside expertise, and we have gone around the state, had stakeholder meetings in 15 different locations from San Diego on up to Redding. We attended the Blue Ribbon Commission hearings and 2 different stakeholder groups, both with DPA and with other industry stakeholders and attorneys, trying to collect as much information as we could about this. So we have really tried to listen to what's out there, and we have also been present in Sacramento working and lobbying on the legislation out there so that our initiative would conform with what state lawmakers and the state of California is expecting. So I think those are unique characteristics of our initiative.
I just want to remind everybody that the theme of this panel was unity. All right, and although I appreciate, Dale, your explication about how special your staff is, the question was really language. What's unique about your language?
Professionally It's professionally prepared by an outside company that actually has national stature in initiative preparation, has been able to give us some really sage advice about what works and what does not work legally, which we would not have had otherwise. So that's what's unique.
So it's unique in its origin. Okay, thank you. Debbie.
Language. Well, first of all, it's not a legalization initiative. What I wrote was I'm really worried about patient protections in the course of this legalization thing. A lot of the times when we work towards legalizing something, it can be overtaken by the need for profit, overtaken by greed. And so what we did was we had this conversation, me and Rick and the others who got involved in writing it. You had some input in it, thank you. And we were worried about making sure that the patients were not forgotten in the battle for the legalization. So what we did was this is unique because it's not a legalization initiative. It's a patient protection act, and it is a bit of a free for all. But it's sorry, I'm I'm a little bit less concerned and much more concerned about what the patients need. So sorry, no, sorry. No, stop. But you know that's why they call me the crazy bitch. So the thing is that what's unique in here is that it requires the state to recognize that this is just like any other garden plant, unless you're within 600 feet of a school, because you know you got to give them that one. I really shouldn't have to. You ought to be able to grow it in a playground if you want to. It's not going to kill anybody, but I mean, it's not like the plant reaches out and kills people. But what this does is basically makes it as easy to regulate and obtain as any other flora in the area. And most of all, what we knew was coming down the pipe a few months ago was that they were going to go after the doctors with AB 266 and SB 643. This completely undoes everything that they did to the doctors. It actually ties their hands with any sort of penalties. It is okay to prescribe marijuana, and you can prescribe it all day as a family physician. It does not matter. That's what this constitutional is saying. It's our right. And it has to be a constitutional amendment. If it's not, the lawmakers are just going to keep coming and screwing with it like they have to 15. It's time for us to finally say, do something. And then it doesn't matter what legalization initiative gets passed this year, as long as this one gets on the books and gets passed, all the good rights are still there. All the rest of these things can be worked out, but we don't lose those rights.
Thank you, Debbie Tharp. Okay, next, John.
What was the question?
What's unique? And I guess I should have clarified it. What's unique in the language of your initiative, right? That you think is a deal killer if it's not included in a legalized, voted, approved ballot?
A while ago, I think unique in MCLR were several things that have been finally adapted and adopted in other language. So at one point, we felt the commission structure was something that was unique to us, and we're happy to see that. The grow limit, no grow limit. I guess that's somewhat unique. Our diversion program, a little detail about the diversion program. If you're not understanding, you haven't read the detail, we're tired of putting people that do have to go into diversion in with the hardcore drug addicts and not educate them. So we want to create municipality level drug diversion that educates and puts cannabis people in the right environment if that's what it takes. So that's something we're proud of. Again, I have read all the other initiatives and all the details down to the point that, again, I'm not sure if these are unique, but the banking and insurance reference that we've insured protections in that regard, I think we're comfortable with that. I have to respond a little bit to something that Dale said in regards to what's unique. And it's interesting how you can do something and have different types of perspectives. Dale was suggesting that they had a very well crafted and written document with a good professional writer, and I do appreciate that. What we did, what I think is unique in writing it is everybody here wrote it. And we took that language and we gave it to Steve Churchwell. And I'd encourage everybody, we've been public about Steve for a long time and offer his services as you want to pay for them. You are welcome to consider what he has done for us. Steve is the former chief counsel of the Fair Political Practices Commission. He's written multiple initiatives. He's done not only brilliant work, but he's given us the perspective and the opportunity to do things not only about similar to what Dale said about doing professional writing, but adapt what the people want in the document as well. And we, of course, spending time in Sacramento are ensuring that we're looking at the opposition side as well. And since his experience there as assistant in that area, so he's comfortable certainly about us speaking to him. That is certainly unique about what MCLR. We have what we believe is a very extremely competent person that understands the legislation at all levels to make sure that it's written properly and it's legislatively and legally viable. So that in itself is unique for MCLR. Beyond that, many things now that were unique at one time, we're happy to say we're adopted by others.
I'm going to just turn to our boat monitor for a minute.
So I told him I have to go pee. So I was trying to make it subtle. So he's making a deal, but I got to go pee. I'll be right back.
A man with his own agenda. Well, we'll wait for Henry's review until after he has a chance to come back. Just in the interest of being fair and providing equal time, I'm also going to recognize Debbie to make a few comments on behalf of the CACHI.
You know, I try to keep them included in this, even though they don't show up to a lot of these things because they are still out there. And I know the language really well because I helped typeset it like 2 or 3 times. So I've got this. But there are a couple of unique things in CCHI that it would be nice, since to answer that question, is that they actually demand the full review of all prisoners' records and restoration of your full rights and release of the prisoners. That's a very good thing, and I would love to see that ultimately happen in 2016. And the second one being this massive hemp component that's a part of the bill. It is really, really important. So those 2 things to have in there, but most importantly, just a return of our rights. I would also like to see ultimately is from reform is protection of rights for parents. That's really important. That's a massive, massive problem that we're facing here. We shouldn't have to fear that.
I just have a question. Is there any protection in any of the bills for high security gardens that have, exceptionally low protection? We don't have that, especially, for us underneath all of this.
Kavai is asking a question about any special protections for high CBD plants specifically. And I'm frankly unaware that CBD as a term even is defined in any of the initiative efforts. So I don't think there is any one.
Yeah.
It's not addressed specifically. I don't believe in any of the initiatives. So I'm getting head nods from Dale Garinger and John Lee, 2 big policy wonks up here. So I'm thinking I'm pretty confident in that statement. To be candid about it, I think many of us feel that the challenge of educating the general public just to change their minds from reefer madness to reefer gladness and support our bill would be a bigger burden if we took on the CBD versus THC thing head on. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's the case.
No, you've got a good point. I just wanted to say I'm actually helping draft some legislation for another state right now. And one of the things that we're trying to add into that draft was a special tax relief from the excise tax for people who are doing non-commercial strains of cannabis, because it was Charlotte's Web or something like that. It's not what they're going for in that. Now, I mean, why that's not happening in California? This other state's a much smaller geographic area. California, that stuff's going to get grown anyway. But you're right. There should be ultimately that's going to be part of it. It's non-commercial. It is totally non-commercial.
I want to just make another comment. The CBD issue has been kind of distorted in some other states in their initiatives, and so they're passing things that are CBD only, and most of the science backs up that you need to have some THC in order to maximize the effects of the CBD. And so once again, that the reason that issue is somewhat problematical is because there are people out there whose attitudes will not allow them to actually understand the science behind it. And to that extent, the CBD issue gets misdirected. That's patients, and that's unfortunate. Able to hear you, especially.
A lot of these states are passing, like Mike said, passing the laws, CBD oil laws. But what's happening is we have these that are importing CBD from hemp. Medicinal cannabis does for all the reasons we know and talk about. But that's sort of what's happening, and I think that's one of the reasons why Kavai is bringing it up, is because as a community, that's sort of our prize. That's what we've been working really hard for, and it's one of the first cannabinoids that really has been completely recognized as medicinal. So that's something that's going on right now in the market, and I think it's kind of hurting us a little bit. So just be aware of that.
Actually, with regard to the CBD, I should mention we're about to do a second filing on our initiative, and that has some hemp language legalizing hemp. And in there, we make it clear that CBD derived from hemp can sort of enter the mainstream of commerce without getting taxed or anything like that, but being grown as hemp. So that's in there.
Yes, so we're talking now. We're getting a little bit off track here because we're talking about CBD derived from hemp versus CBD derived from cannabis sativa, and I want to since Henry isn't back yet to give us some monitoring comments on our boat. I wanted to take a minute here to see if there's anybody in the audience that has a question for the panel about the initiatives before we go into our final series of questions in which we're going to ask each of them to comment about unification strategies. So, we'll start with Steve. Steve, would you grab a microphone and please ask your question?
There seems to be two kinds of initiatives that I'm seeing. One that I could only describe as legal lies that pretend to be legalization, but you can't even smoke a joint the day that it passes. So I would like to know from this board, what do you consider to be the must-have, absolutely cannot sell us out on this issue? What are the key components to something really being legalization and not pretend legalization, which, as far as I'm concerned, I can't think of a single example of legalization in the United States today.
I think descheduling is one thing. We do that in our initiative, and I think another important thing is on-site consumption, which is not legal in Colorado or Washington or the other legal states. And we make it clear that on-site consumption can be allowed. It'll be subject to local regulation, of course, but that's important. And I think the other indispensable thing that it may get lost in some of these legalizing initiatives is rights for patients. And I think it's very important to have employment and housing rights and child protective service rights. And actually also recognition of out-of-state patients. I think all of those are really important things that should not be left behind.
John?
Thanks. We've seen it happen in other states, personal grow. I mean, I'm not willing to concede that at any level, no matter who comes up with what size check. We have to try to avoid that as much as we can. This has been an education process, so you have to fight it at all different levels. So it's the whole process itself that you can't give up to. We're the more we continue divisiveness, the more we don't understand that away to me is to make sure that we retain some level of collaboration against fighting here.
Betty. Quickly, a question.
Oh, we're getting rid. That's gone.
What? Excuse me, just a second, Dale. Betty's just asking about the snitch clause in Reform California and Dale's response.
We listened very carefully to what people had to say. That was very, including going out. Okay.
Woo!
So this is my first time here at an event kind of like this. I I got to be here. It really is, and seeing the divisions together in their own way. Now, are all of these initiatives just for California? Okay, everybody here is a powerful particle of the universe, able to create their own reality and change the world and manifest thoughts into reality. You are taking all this division of time on one state. What if you put all of your energy into the whole freedom
Yeah, you know, we need to put pressure on our local HUD offices not to allow
But
that discrimination.
I'm gonna move this along because basically both of these initiatives recognize specific housing access rights and protect against discrimination based on cannabis use. So that's not an issue that differentiates between them. So with your permission, I'll just move on. All right. Okay. So it's my belief that in the process of mediation, i.e., consolidation, consensus building in the cannabis policy community, it's important to acknowledge that we do have some basic differences. So next, I'd like to invite our panelists to comment on what it is specifically that they don't like about the other initiatives. What are the stumbling blocks that get in the way of being able to come up with a consensus document?
Uh, and my only objection is one of political feasibility. You know, it's not a question of what we want here in this group of cannabis enthusiasts. It's what you know the voters of California are going to support. And the fact is that the majority of California voters could give less about marijuana. They really don't give a damn. And unless you offer something that looks good to them, you know, they're not going to vote for it. We did polling on this, and it's really easy to lose a legalization initiative if you go too far and make it seem like you're trying to, you know, loosen all the laws and let freedom reign. Actually, that's not what Californians want. They actually want to see some order out there. Well, the only way of having order is by legalizing it, make it legal for adults to use it, but you have to phrase it in those terms. And so we've taken great care to do that, but I think that's important. Like, and when you come specifically, for example, to the issue of drug testing, MCLR pretty much outlaws drug testing. I'm all for that, but 80% of Californians think that drug testing is the cat's pajamas. Okay, and if you attack it, you're going to get a large backlash from the business community and from the drug testing community. I mean, there's going to be mega bucks going against that specific thing. We, in our initiative, shaded this to give rights to medical marijuana patients have the right to be excused from drug testing, but which, in fact, the voters do support. The voters support the idea that you can have a medical excuse, but they do not support the idea that drug testing is a bad thing. They think so that's the kind of thing that we're interested in.
Henry's asked to have a comment. Go ahead, Henry.
All right, so I want to go back to earlier when Steve Covey was talking and he went to that thing. Like, I don't care how many initiatives are on the ballot, vote for them all, and one of them will pass, and that'll be forward movement. Because I'm in my own, I want to be friends with everybody, and then I have my own opinions about stuff and everything, and this is what creates the division. But is it wrong to vote for every single one? Are they all towards marijuana? And then there's all the mumbo jumbo that they all keep talking about, and it's all a part of it, though, right? It's a part of the change and the change of the laws. But before all these laws that everybody's talking about, and even when Prop 215 came into place, were there people growing marijuana? Were there people using medicine? Were there people changing the world and doing their thing with a plant? If it was hemp, if it was cannabis, were they using it before all even this laws came into place? For thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it will continue to go on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So everybody can waste their time on all of this, but yet you have to, right? Like he said, somebody stood up and talked about housing. Anybody here heard of Dr. Bronner's soap? All right, so David Bronner, he's the CEO of the company. He took me out boogie boarding one day. We're talking, we're chatting about stuff. I said, what do you think about chemtrails? He goes, Henry, every employee at my company is all down that rabbit hole. He said, it's 1% of all the things that I got to worry about in the world. No, the point is, is cannabis it's the only life, the only existence and everything that we have? Doesn't everybody have all this other things going on in their life? Are you not people? Do you not have your dreams or the books you want to write or the TV shows you want to be in or the children you want to save or the mountains you want to climb or the seas you want to reach to the bottom? It's not just cannabis, is it? This is only a piece of the big puzzle of all of it. And do you know what it is? It's separation that keeps us all from being together of that one unity of the particle of whatever you believe that we're all from. It's the separation that kills this community. You asked, what do I think? It's the separation that hurts and hurts and hurts this community. I said it to them earlier today. Everybody, please stand up. We're all going to grab each other's hands, and for 60 seconds, we're just going to be quiet, say nothing, hold, just connect all the way around the room for 60 seconds, and that's my BOPE, bolts of energy.
Everybody in the circle.
When we all stand up at once together, we will change the world.
Okay, thank you. Some deep breathing time. Wasn't that something? All right, John, we were going on through with things that we think are deal killers in other people's initiatives.
Not necessarily as much deal killers, but necessarily agreement with Dale. Thank you for addressing the snitch clause. I was assuming that was the first thing that was going to come up tonight. Dale, on the other side, and please let me be very honest with you, you've made comments about the quality of the organization that you've done. Well, we all respect what many of your group have done for a long time. We waited a long time for the language and the quality of the people that were writing it. And what I was hoping, as I mentioned, Steve Churchill and ourselves, if we're going to work together, not only after today and the final filings, but beyond, I would have hoped that that snitch clause wouldn't have been in your first draft with the quality of your organization. Now, and give me 1 second to finish if I can. And this isn't an attack in any way. What it means is I saw an opportunity. If we were cooperating sooner, that wouldn't have come up because we would have addressed it, I think. Now, have we addressed everything? I'm sure you could select some same things. But again, this is a unity conference so of sorts. And what I would like to think and suggest that today is not the end of it, or the final signing of whatever initiatives we come up with is not the end of it. And we can continue to work with the pieces to help each other, as Henry and others have said. So that one particular one concerned me. We did, a lot of us waited a long time. We gave you a tremendous amount of respect to see the language. And so I'm most appreciative that you're saying you're refiling again.
Yeah, and I have to say we were actually, unfortunately, rushed in our filing by other dark forces that are out there. And let me say something that I am a little fearful of is takeover by large-scale corporate interests, like you actually see now going on in Ohio and a lot of the East Coast states, where a handful of big growers take over the entire industry. And I think it's very important that we try to keep the industry open to small and medium-sized growers. We have a lot of language in there about that. And I am fearful that any other initiatives that come down the pike, not necessarily ones in here, might not be that careful in that regard, because there's big money out there.
Okay, Dale, thank you. Granddad, let me just keep. I know you're running for time here, so I just want to mention a couple other things. So I just want to make clear where our position is in regards to that. So thank you for addressing that. Just briefly too, Dale. Obviously, on the grow limit issue, one of the concerns we have with your language is the 100 square foot. That's a difficult issue for us. I'm not looking for a response right now. You can get your minute here in a second, and I would love to talk and communicate with you at another level about some of these things. But the question was some things that we weren't satisfied with in that regard. And then again, somebody mentioned about the 8-year-olds in jail. It's the misdemeanor levels that I had some concerns about. CCHI, this is important that I wanted to speak about. We've mentioned for a long time, and this is a combination of philosophical and a legal aspect. There's nobody in here that doesn't want to release prisoners. We all want to release prisoners.
Yeah.
We want to do that. I spent my minute of silence thinking about prisoners. I don't know about others, but that was the thing that I decided to think about at that particular moment. And so we're going to stop putting them in, but we also don't want to release them. And our advice at multiple levels and multiple phases, and the reason it's no longer an MCLR, is that it violates the single subject rule. And we have a tremendous fear in any of our languages here that if we violate the single subject rule, your material gets thrown out entirely. So that was one thing that I wanted to mention that I wasn't satisfied after all this time in regards to the CCHI. I'll move quickly, Granddad, I'm sorry. In regards to the California craft, not a heck of a lot I didn't like about that. It didn't define the commission enough, and that's why we blended it in with ours. And then in regards to Debbie's, the positive is it's short, and the negative is it's too short, right? So you kind of get a twisted issue there. And then the difficulty in a constitutional amendment from a signature gathering issue. But again, I'm stretching for some negatives in that regard. Otherwise, I just want to share those words.
And now Debbie has a few words that she'd like to say.
Okay, well, MCLR is gosh, it's gotten to the point now where I'm having trouble finding trouble with it. But I haven't seen version 4 or 5 yet. I'm really digging number 3. We'll see that really soon. Reform. I'm less. Dale, don't take this the hard way, because I really, 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 really honor what you do. You've worked longer and harder in California than a lot of us, not all of us, and yeah, and I sit there and I get caught up in criticism, and I know you're like, what the hell? But I'm not. The language in reform, it's not going to be all bad. A lot of it's going to be really, really good. My concern is sometimes the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we're trying to write something so that the voters will accept it, thinking that we know what the voters think. But I go around the entire state. I literally talk to hundreds of voters a week. This is what I do, like all over the state, from SoCal to NorCal. And I'm not hearing the type of restrictions that these people want. So corporate-backed interests can run a poll and convince you of anything. I could pretty much convince you that gravity doesn't exist with the right poll. That's my degree. It was public manipulation, psychology and social behavior. So the polling data doesn't really mean as much, and what the corporations are saying doesn't really mean as much as what you're actually hearing in the street. So I'm concerned that a lot of the more flashy you say the source of it is, and the less that you're hearing it from your own community and the patients that really need it, the more I'm worried that you're trying to pander to the voters the way that any other politician would, and not hearing the actual issue and the people that know the most about the issue. Why the hell should we settle for the lowest common denominator? But it's improving. It is improving, and I've seen that improvement come along in it, and we've got way worse coming. So you're right. We're all in the same family, even the father-in-law that you can't stand, or the cousin that you have funny feelings about when you're sitting there in Thanksgiving dinner. We're all family. So it's not a criticism, and at the end of the day, we do have this war to fight together.
All right. Debbie Tharp, thank you very much. Folks, we're almost out of time, but we've gotten to the point that we've been really trying to build to. And that is, I would really like to have each of the panelists address what they're going to do to try and unify the initiatives. Go ahead, Dale.
what's going to happen is, and this is not in my control, or I don't think the control of anybody in this room, is there's going to be some initiatives filed with the Attorney General, those some that have already been filed and a couple, two or three more in the next couple weeks. And I think what is going to happen is that people, the public in general, not just the cannabis community, but the public in general, is going to look at those initiatives and decide amongst them. And I think that probably the Lieutenant Governor, Gavin Newsom, and some high-powered people will come down and make a decision about it. And whatever that decision is, we want to happen.
Okay, Debbie.
I've been doing it. It's working. You're bossy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably signing on to MCLR. I like version 3. I'm going to sign on to the version that I read. As far as reform, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to the CCHI people, and we just got to keep remembering to talk to each other. That's what we're going to do to unify.
Thank you, Debbie. I think that's all we've been trying to do since day one. And so we're going to continue to do the same. My phone number is available. Dale's had my phone number and email since day one. So has everybody else in the community. We've been an open process. We're not ashamed about that. We've had to rush some things at the end, but with the full trust of our community that we weren't going to give away our tenants. And the same token, we've grown. We've grown through these years to understand what's legally and legislatively viable. We understand, as Debbie has said, not only from a corporate standpoint, but what's appropriate and what people want on the streets. So what are we going to do to continue? I'm sitting here again and telling Dale and others, our doors and our emails and our meeting rooms have been open. We've asked and wanted to cooperate. We now have to. This is above board. There's nothing behind the scenes anymore other than to stand up and stick with what we believe in. If we do each choose a different path as a result of our egos and our intelligence and all the wonderful things that have happened in California, we'll support that. As everybody said, we'll support what we have to do at the end, but the door is never going to change for us. We're not going to make light of the word unity or collaboration. We have never said no to anybody. Nobody can ever say we have. And again, our final words are always, what more can we do? So through this process and beyond, that's always going to be our intent.
Well, folks, there you have our panel for tonight. I want to thank Dale Geringer, Henry Hemp, Debbie Tharp, John Lee, for making this so educational and illuminating. I think we're just about finished. We need to do the raffle, but we'll do the raffle, I think, during the next phase of the costume contest. So, we're going to do the raffle now while they get ready. So I'm going to turn it over to Ron.
Gandalf.
Excuse me.
All costume contestants, please report to the back room. There's a sign-up sheet. All judges need to come up here. Meanwhile, we're going to start the raffle. Get your tickets ready, everybody.
Round of applause for Mike for all his hard work that he does.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Mike. So we got some pretty good prizes here. I think we're going to put a Henry Hemp comic with a few of the other prizes. So if you're in a contest, want to be, okay, the prizes for the costume contest. We have a gift basket from Heavenly Sweet Edibles. So round of applause for Heavenly Sweet. And you have to be a patient to win that prize, okay? Because you got to go pick that up at RCP with your doctor's recommendation. So whoever wins that prize, I just submit their name to Heavenly Sweet, and you'll win that prize. And as far as the other prizes, we have a basket of grow stuff that was provided by Anthony, our secretary. And then our third prize is a full set of Henry Hemp comics, all signed, including the first one, which is very, very rare. All right. So all the judges, go ahead and have a seat up here if you're asked to be a judge. And I'm going to have to ask you to try to get your own. Get a phone or a piece of paper and a pen. All the judges try to grab a piece of paper and a pen, some way to write your judgment down. And sorry for the chaos, everybody. We're gonna get the. I have a lot of judges already. I have a lot of judges already. Okay. Okay. Do you have tickets?
I gave him.
Okay, good.
He's monitoring.
All right, everybody, get your tickets out. We're going to do the raffle real quick while we get ready for the costume contest. Okay, judges, if you do not have a pen and paper, can someone help all the judges get a pen and paper? Okay, you can use your phone or you can use the pen and paper, just a way to write down. And we'll go over how going to be 3 categories, 30 points. All right. So this is for the raffle, right? No, what's for the what's our prize? Oh, the painting? What's the prize for the costume contest? Okay, have that for the costume contest. Nice. What's this for? Raffle. Okay. Sue, over here. Come on down. If you were asked to be a judge, please come up to the dais here. Don Duncan, Dale. I wanted you, Dale Schaefer. I wanted you to be a judge if you're willing. I don't remember if you said yes or not, but. So our first prize is going to be, how about we put this with the little pipe? A little pipe and grinder, ready to go. Glass, donated by who? Oh, you don't know? You just found it on there? Oh, donated by Anthony Savala. All right, the prize. Kavai, come on down, pick up your raffle prize. Grinder and pipe goes to Kavai. All right, we have a shirt donated by CCHI. Did you bring this, Christine? Thank you so much. All right, CCHI shirt, large, goes to 576. Come on down and pick up your shirt, number 576. Suzette, are you entering the costume contest? Go to the back room and sign up. If you have a costume and you want to win one of the fabulous prizes, go in the back room. If you have raffle tickets, leave it with somebody. Okay, who won this one? 576. There you go. All right. Sorry. A little chaotic. Okay, we've got a micro hydroponics leading. If you're a grower, you probably know what this is. Root dip and nourish. Okay, yeah. So, and this was donated back to the raffle from its last winner, which was John Lee. Thank you, John. Number 578. Come down and claim your prize. 578. If you don't grow, give it to your favorite grower that you heart. Where is Hezekiah? Oh, there he is. Okay. I didn't see you sit down. I just made me think of you, and I was like, is he gonna? What? What? Who won this? 578. Please claim your ticket. Did you? Oh, and she'll use it too. All right. Thank you. All right. This is a cool prize brought to us by Sue Colombe. It is a copy of the Jack Herrera's Emperor Wears No Clothes DVD and a cool spider pumpkin shirt. Thank you for that, Sue. Or spiderweb shirt. So this prize is going to go to 509. 509. Come collect your prize. Woohoo. Granddaddy. Where's he? He's in the costume contest, huh? Where'd he go? Mike? Is he back there? Oh, no. He left his tickets with you. Duh. Okay. Here you go. Hopefully he has somebody to give that to. Speaking of Granddaddy Mike, he donated one of his heritage heirloom, I think it's Silver Haze posters. Go ahead and draw. They're cute. I have one. Collector's items, numbered and all that good stuff. 491. Collect your collector's poster. Donated. Granddaddy Mike won his own poster. We're going to do it again. He would not want that. All right. 41110. 410. All right. Do you have one of these? You're going to love it. Hang it in your smoking room. All right. Oh, choke here. All right. Okay. Now, we got a Henry Hemp comic. And we're going to go ahead and put with a flavor jar. Now, this is the third one. There's only 3 issues of the Henry Hemp comic. This is the third one. The first one's really hard to get. So these are all very limited edition. Okay. And we have a flavor jar flavored like cherry. And this goes to number 519. Come on down. Did you sign this? Did you sign this? Will you sign it for them? Henry will sign this for you. Woohoo! Number 519. Here you go, ma'am. Oh, there's the jar. And if you want to get it signed, Henry's right there. Okay. Now we got a pair of Marsha's earrings with the pot leaves. These are donated by Brownie Mary, Marsha Blount. Thank you so much. And when's your meeting, Marsha? Okay. Brownie Mary Democratic Club has made strides in getting the Democratic Party to change its ways and to embrace legalization. If you guys saw the debates last night, it was a wedge issue. They all discussed it. And they all tried to not like it without looking like they didn't like it. It was hilarious. Okay. 493. Come on down. Collect your beautiful earrings. 493. This is what makes raffles go so slow. Hold this. 493. All right. We've got another Henry Hemp comic, and we're going to go ahead and do a rubber dab holder also. So Granddaddy Mike won what? I think he has a pair of those. Okay, go ahead for the next Henry Hemp comic, which will be signed. Number 479. Come on down. 479. Woohoo, Aaron. Oh, by the way. So, and we were just talking to Aaron. He is going to have us at the farm tomorrow. That'll be fun. Woohoo! All right. Who donated this? There's no weed in any of this, right? Okay, good. Yeah. All right. From the reserve. Thank you so much, whoever you are. We have lanyard, cozy, the full gambit of swag. Glasses, thumb drive, and a vapor lanyard and a couple stickers. All right, this prize goes to, yeah, this is awesome. 517. Come on down. Sue, go ahead and give that to her, and then I'll do the next one. Okay, we're going to do another Henry Hemp comic along with a flavor jar. Sue, the dark weed fairy. 406. 406. Come on down and collect your prize. 406. All right. Here you go. That's his name. Do you want it made out to Anthony? Oh, you don't want that, huh? You want that. Okay. We're going to go ahead and give out the flavor jar separate because Anthony donated this and doesn't want it. But I'm sure he wants his Henry Hemp comic. Oh, go ahead and give me another one. Okay, for the flavor jar, it goes to 336. All right, we have another Henry Hemp comic. Okay, give me a. Okay, the last Henry Hemp comic that he brought with him from L.A., okay, Burbank, something like that. The lovely studios in Burbank. 447. 447. Come get your Henry Hemp comic. And that goes to you. You good? All right. We have this necklace donated by Jan Daly. Did you sign up for the costume contest? Go back there and sign up. And this goes to, a howlite. I guess that's a stone. It's the End the Drug War bullet casing. She's repurposed. 478. I'm getting my 8s and 6s. 478. Come on down. I don't know if we got anything left. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do the rest of these rubber things 2 at a time. 2 rubber balls to put your, you can put your dabs in it. 463. Okay, good idea. 463. All right. And our last raffle prize for the evening. Number 317. Come on down. Okay. Now, has everybody got a pen and paper? Are they going to be able to pull this off? MCLR, you had a stack of papers.
Yes,
Can we write on
absolutely.
the back of them? Is that all the money? Can you give it to Kim? Give it to Kim Cargile. She's in the costume contest right there. The money. Money. She's got it. Okay. Good job on the raffle. How much did we make, Sue? $188. Woo! On the raffle. And just a reminder, nobody on the normal board gets paid. We're all volunteers. The money goes to pay whatever stupid overhead we get with, filings and everything like that. Now we're going to move on to the first ever Cannabis Community Costume Contest. So, is everybody ready? I will not be entering, even though this is store-bought anyway.
Aww.
So what we're doing, we asked everybody who was wanting to dress up.
Ron, I
Are
have
you
a
in the
question. Can we smoke some weed?
No, but we can move through the contest quickly and go home to my house and smoke some weed. Sorry. If you want to light up a joint, I won't stop you. But just be advised, this is Sacramento. Vape? Yeah, vape, just not the big clouds. Andy, are you entering? Dude, you need to enter. The dude. We have a guy who went through the trouble of dressing like the dude, and he's not entering the contest. Can we shame him and embarrass him into entering the contest? Everybody, a round of applause for the dude.
Dude. Come on back. Come on back.
Those pants are perfect. Go back and sign up.
Come on back. Come on back.
Okay. So
he's in it. He
this
was
is all
just playing
thrown together.
hardball.
The prizes are pretty cool. I don't know how we're going to figure who gets what prize, but I do know that the person who wins the edible basket has to be a patient, okay? So we'll figure that out. And then right after the contest, we're going to have pictures real quick. Pictures real quick. And you can smoke out the front. So we're going to bring each person out, and they're going to tell you who they are. They're going to pitch what it is that makes their costume cannabis, and you're going to judge them 10 points on each category. One is creativity, which includes, did they make it themselves? Did they just buy it? Whatever. And it's all arbitrary. Sorry, guys. What you think and feel. They get 10 points for how cannabis-y it is, how much it really is on subject, and how much of it is stretch it is.
11
whether
contestants.
it's a character, and they're going to need to sell it a little bit. Like, there's an Arnold back there. I don't know if everybody knows why Arnold relates to weed, but I do. And then the third category is going to be overall. So what was the first two?
You only said one.
No. Number one is creativity, originality, And then number 2 is how cannabisy that the costume is. Yes, how much it actually relates to the topic. Because, sometimes there's a little bit of a stretch. And we did ask them to focus
Like
on...
the dude, he ain't got no weed on him, but he's about weed.
But he could argue that the dude is a cannabis icon, right? And that's what I'll tell them to do. And then, we'll just go on those 2
Creativity,
categories.
cannabisy. And what about fun? What about energy? Their energy is
overall fun and energy. Tell you what, the third category, they're going to have a clap off, and you guys are going to give them 1 to 10 on how much clapping they got. How's that? Are you guys able to do a clap off? Can we get everybody in this room for the clap off? All right. Can everybody in the room hear me? Can the costume contestants hear me? You guys are going to... Suzette. Suzette, can you get everybody's attention in their room? You gotta come out.
Do we have any professional?
The second prize is the Henry Hemp comics. I gotta get in on this photo. Here. Hold on.
We have to pause for. Come back. You have a costume? Will you not join us in the room back? Will you not join us in the secret room where we have secret chats? Don, you have a costume. Luau girl, you have a costume. We feel your positive spirit.
All right, so everybody in the costume contest, can you guys hear me back there? All right, here's what you got to do. Give me that sign-up sheet, and I will announce you. You're going to come out. You're going to say who you are, why your character is cannabisy. You got to. It's worth 10 points, and then you're going to try to drum up applause. Write down or put it on your phone. Each one's going to be done individually, and then I'll keep score on the back of this, or on this sheet here. Okay. All right. Sue, you're in 2 categories. Which one do you want? The one that wins? Okay. So we're going to start off with the first. We're going to go ladies first. And we're going to have the first one off the ladies list. Sue, do you want to do the lady or do you want to be the creative? Pick one. Pick which category. Okay. So we'll have Mel. Come on out. Tell us. All right.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
All right. So why don't the females be the females and the males be the males, and then the creative is the one that is the winner of all.
Okay. So tell everybody your costume and why it relates to marijuana.
Don't be afraid to be who you are, and don't be afraid.
And then you got to try to drum up clapping.
I'm mellow, the Irie medible. I'm edible, and everybody likes me, and I'm sweet, and I satisfy everybody's needs.
All right, you guys. So go first. Give her 1 to 10 on creativity, and 1 to 10. On how it relates to cannabis. And now, everybody, let's give a round of applause for how much you like this costume. Try to give that a score, 1 to 10.
So we have something to judge on right now, so we know what the top meter is, and then we can judge from 10 to 1 of the clapping. Right now, I need everybody just to clap so we can hear what it is.
Good idea.
Show us your top. Like, you just love it. You love living life.
Yeah, if you really like a costume, you got to scream, guys. Okay.
All right, so that's our 10 right there. We know what our 10 is.
So Mel got about a 4.
I gave her a 7, but
okay. All right. Now, So do we have a total yet? What's your total?
Oh, what? There's one person.
No, you got to. We're gonna total.
Out of 30, that was a 24.
Okay. So we got. I need a pen now. Okay. Okay. What's your score? What's your score from 1 to 30?
From 1 to 30, if it was 7 times 3, 14, 21.
Okay. And you?
Because I went 1 to 10, so that would make sense, right?
I did, and that's how I got 24.
Her old man gave her a 30. I don't know if that's fair. 18. Okay. We'll have a mathematician add that up at the end of the show.
But I do know most stoners love to eat M&Ms.
Yes. That was sad.
I mean
okay.
medical patients.
David Hodges, come on down. Tell us who you are and what that character has to do with weed. Wait, can anybody guess?
A stoner.
It's one of the
Yeah,
Beatles.
I'm supposed to be John Lennon, and as
John, yeah.
one
Was that
of the
is that a
leading
Beatle?
members of the hippie era, I think being involved with pot is fairly self-explanatory.
Waitress, our guest back here they're in the back.
Come out here in the middle.
They really
now.
want to order some
Now let's
drinks.
give John Lennon a round of applause,
Yes,
everybody.
serious. Right. Back here, they really. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We got that total. Now we've got Jan Daly. Tell us who you are and what it relates to cannabis.
I'm a reefer madness, and I want to end prohibition for marijuana. Normal, right?
Right. You're Zeld from Reef.
Just reefer madness. A lot of people, they don't like it. Some people don't like the name Zelda, and I don't want to offend anyone.
Oh, okay. Go on out here. Let's get.
Grandma's name is Zelda, or their ex-wife, or
So
whatever.
PCE. Yeah. All right. Get out here, Jan, for applause. All right. Shake it. Come on out. Get on deck.
Can you do the teamwork?
What was that? Okay, so you are.
At least I have a dream.
I think these judges are taking this very seriously. I like
Nightmare
it.
for others.
Here's
21. Oh wait, I'm now 21. Cannabis is the fountain of youth, and you reverse backwards.
Yeah, we have a few. What is that? Okay. All right. Next up, we have Suzette. You're gonna tell us why your witch is. Oh, she's a witch from Canacare.
I am your patient's representative, and I am your advocate for your patient's representative. And friend of plants and animals.
Woohoo!
She's
All right.
friends of plants and animals.
All right. Mellow Mel.
Sounds Wiccan or something. I
So
don't
we
know.
did this one here.
Absolutely nothing.
All right, let's go
He
ahead
is
and bring
magic.
out. We did him. Lawrence Setu, come on out. Now, you guys listen carefully because his costume has a really detailed description. Oh, shoot. You describe it while I go get the points from the other people.
I'm representing big corporations trying to take over the cannabis industry, and this is my real face.
He's representing the corporations that are trying to hide and get into the cannabis community. He lifted his mask. He's in the. Well, it's secret. He's corporation, basically. Corporation right there. Fabulous job. One more round of applause for Corporation.
I'm getting behind on my job.
Because they'll always have a piece of the pie. Haven't you ever entertained yourself?
Okay. All right, can we get our next, Marsha, why don't you come on out and tell about your costume while I collect the points off of the corporate interest, I think it was.
I'm a black market.
Laughter, extra point. Right.
Can we get some, what's the applause on Black Market?
Nobody wanted to do it this way.
6.9. Oh, times 3. So 18, 19,
That's like 20.
20.12. Oh, am I supposed to play this straight?
19.
Okay. Now Marsha.
That looks right. Marsha.
Big money at the table. Oh, he's giving you cash. Don't leave the cash on the table.
I'm sorry, Marsha is 18.
Marsha, Black Market.
23.7.
So I've learned today that Henry Hemp can be a little fuck. Come on out, the dude. All right. The dude. All right. You want to tell us a little bit about
Dude, drink this dude's beard. Extra point.
Doesn't this rug tie the room in well? I am not the Lebowski. You're the Lebowski. I'm the dude. I'm the duderino. I'm the dudist.
I am
the dude.
uneducated.
All right, let's give a big round of applause for the dude. He's actually he's the first one to do the character he's playing. So, all right. So what do we got for the dude here? I don't see you on the list. Kim, come on out, Kim, and tell everybody what you're going to be, what you are.
I'm an organic cannabis farmer operating in a all-cash industry. Also the treasurer of Normal. That's why I have all this money right here. Medicate, don't medihate.
He's 1.5 higher than It's totally working. It's just silly and fun. Shit, that's working. Is this section of the event supposed to be serious or something? Because I guess I'm totally misrepresenting. 7.95 times 3.
Okay, now we need for Kimberly.
It's 23.95.
Go ahead. 17. 20. For the organic cannabis farmer.
19.
Okay. 20. I knew you'd love that one. And then you're the organic.
What was the lowest number?
0.
What was the highest number?
10.
11.
3 times? No. So you want to give her a 30?
33. 11 times 3 is 33.
It's 10 is the cap, so we'll give her a 30. All right. Yes, sir. I think Henry's
I
not
have
stoned
smoked
enough.
more weed today than I have in a month. Let's be honest.
That was my fault.
Which is a great thing. I was like,
All right, we
hey,
have a few left to go. Come on out, Kavai.
I tried to be
Just tell
quiet
everybody
doing
what
that
your
serious
costume
shit.
is here.
I just want to let you all know I am your weed wench. I will clean your bongs. I will light your bowls. I will roll your joints. Just letting you know I have all of your cannabis expectations met and then some. Let me know how I can help you. And we are going back this way. Back this way. Back this way.
All right. So where are we? Oh, Richard, you didn't.
I saw her kneel before the bishop today. She gets an extra point. I know some people know what I'm talking. Latecomers, you missed it.
Yeah, you missed it big time. What did you get that one?
I'll get back to you.
Okay. Come on out, Keith. I forgot what your character's called. All of a sudden.
29.
29. Okay.
How's it going? I'm Julian from Trailer Park Boys. And I don't have my consorts with me. I don't have Ricky or Trevor or Corey. So they fucked around earlier and, messed everything up like they usually do.
Judges, if you haven't seen it, he's dead on. Julian from the Trailer Park Boys. We tried to get a Bubbles, but it's really hard to get those glasses. Okay.
Is that the movie where those three guys live in the trailer park?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear from the bishop. Why isn't the bishop up here?
Yeah, Bishop. Why aren't you up here?
Bishop Ron Allen, can you step in the back room, please? Bishop Ron
Bishop,
Allen,
you gotta
can
join.
you step in the back room?
And what did you say for Julian?
They're calling for you.
17.1.
And then for Julian?
Bishop. Give the bishop a round of applause. He's going to go back
on
there.
now,
He's going to join the
Bishop.
group. That's
Who's
what it's
left?
about, having fun.
Who else is left? Stand by the door so I can see you. Okay, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steve Barusa. Come on down. Tell us what Arnold has to do with weed.
I'm Arnold. I'll flex. Be careful. Who remembers my movie?
Twins?
Not Terminator, not Governator. When you were girly babies, eh? Pumping iron. Pumping. Be careful.
Didn't Danny DeVito sell you some weed?
He also decriminalized an ounce in California. That's kind of a
He's
big
a
deal.
superhero.
All right, let's hear it for Arnold, everybody. Arnold. All right, Cleopatra, come on out. Or I'm sorry, are you Cleopatra? Sure. Arnold, do you have a question?
Arnold.
You have to smoke a cigar with the real Arnold.
Don Duncan. 17.2.
And don't take into account his voting record.
No, I'm not going to take it.
Huh? Okay. 19. Okay, is that our last one? Oh, we have you're entering
No,
too,
we
right?
got a couple more.
Oh, did you didn't go up yet? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were the first. Okay.
She was, and then you scared her away with your question.
Come on out.
So I tried to make it easy. Girl, guy, creative.
Queen of the Nile, because she was known as the flower of Egypt with big, large bud clusters.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think I think they used to bury their mummies with weed, so she gets extra points. 80.
I'm cannabis. I'm what
judges.
you smoke. I'm your pleasure and their pain. I'm what Arnold sticks in a bowl in the Capitol and smokes. I'm the reason why he didn't sign the bill. Yeah. Sorry, Charlie. And the reason why is because everybody's on me. They want me. They love me. They smoke me. They eat me. I'm a ooey gooey, rich and chewy cannabis bud. The best bud in California.
Good. Thank you very much. Take into account all this applause, everybody. All right. Go ahead. We got, are you a hobbit? Is that what you are? We got a hobbit in the house.
Touche.
Touche. Come on out, Mr. Hobbit. Yes. Oh, no, there's a whole bit.
You get into that shire.
I have a joint, but I shall not pass.
Oh. I'm not ready for this. 26. That's pretty good. So, work the crowd. What did you give? What did you give? Sue?
Hey, when you're put on the spot, you should go with the role. I think you should do this role play.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
What are we doing?
Quit being a jerk.
Oh, wait, I got just the thing for you right here. This will shut you up. All right.
He did pass.
Puff, puff, pass.
All right. I'm just trying not to go over two. Sue got 30.
Energy and not being afraid is worth extra point.
What did you give Sue? The girl.
2.
2 what? 2 15s?
29.9.
Nice. 29.9.
She had a whole
Now we got.
going,
There's anybody else waiting back there? All right, our final costume. Let's give a round of applause, and we'll get the votes from the judges. Oh, are you entering, Mike? Okay, we got one more. So let's go ahead and do the Hobbit points. Great
Play us
costume.
a song, sir. Play us a
You
song.
bought that? Nice. Your feet aren't hairy enough. Yes, sir. What? Yes, he's going to be next. I heard him. 23. Why don't you tell us about why Willie Nelson loves weed?
You know, Willie Nelson is here, everybody. Why don't you give him the biggest round of applause you can muster up? Because this freaking Willie Nelson.
Hey, folks. Good evening. Good
8.5,
evening.
16, 24.
I'm so glad to join you here
25.5.
tonight. I just need to tune up the guitar here a little bit. Ding, 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 ding. And then,
Judges, watch
and
Willie.
then I'm gonna invite Gandalf to help me with a little duet. Come on over here. All ready?
You don't even know the words, do you?
Well, it's all going to pot, whether you like it or not.
Far as
I
I
can
can
tell,
tell,
the world's gone to hell. Sure will miss it a lot. I'll go
to all the
whiskey in Lynchville, Tennessee.
Sure hit the spot. Got a
$500 bill, so keep your pills, 'cause it's all going to pot. Okay, so yeah. Anyway.
Extra point for the song. Minus 3
Granddaddy
points
Mike
being off
is,
key.
is Willie Nelson. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, we gotta get Willie. I almost didn't get the judging.
There's
okay,
two,
Willie.
2 more, correct? 2 more.
Oh, yeah, the bishop. Sorry, guys.
Not the Reverend,
The bishop. Willie Nelson. Bishop, come on out and tell us about why you relate to cannabis.
That was Willie Nelson.
Some of you may not know who I represent. That's right. I'm Bishop Ron Allen.
All right.
I'm the one
Only
that
minus
try to stop you
1.5,
from using your
that's
medication.
good.
You should all be
27.2.
ashamed of yourself. You're going to go to hell. It's an abomination. But anyway, getting to a serious point. The Reverend Bishop Ron Allen was our biggest activist opposing our community here in Sacramento. So I wanted to shed light so you never forget. Now, although I am the wrong color, it doesn't matter what color you are. There are people out there that are trying to destroy our community. There are initiatives out there that are forced by Reverend or Bishop Ron Allen that are trying to stop our rights. So we have to do our part to stop him. Okay? Thank you.
Woo! Truth spoken from the man in the funny hat.
So we apologize to people in podcast land who can't even see any of the costumes because all our cameras ran out of batteries. We're going to take a 5-minute break. What time is it? Okay, we got to clear out of here pretty quick because they're trying to close and get us out of here. So I'm going to run back and do some real quick addition, and then we're going to award the prizes, all right?
That's why I threw in some 0.5s, 1s, and 2s. Just to make a point.
7.9 times 3, my good sir. To the fourth power minus
23.2. So how about a big round of applause for each and every one of you that are here today just to make this a fun event. Getting together, sharing education, stimulation, and trying to all get on a similar page. Let's at least get in the same book. I don't like boredom. It's boring. So I've never felt more loved and mean mugged at an event ever. This has been awesome. I feel like I'm sitting up here all bipolar like. In the room, how many people actually use their medicine to wake up? How many people drink coffee in the room? How many people drink coffee and smoke weed in the morning? That's interesting because there was a different range of hands there. Not everybody smokes in the morning. Almost everybody. I'm only smoke weed. It's all about the delay. Roses are red, violets are blue. What was I saying? Okay, winch. That's a beautiful winch. Fungi. So my daughter, she just turned 4.5, and so it's time that she's going to be going to school. And a lot of people don't know the day that me in January, who is Mrs. Hemp, that was on Pierce Morgan and the Bethany Show as one of the marijuana moms, the CPS showed up to take from us because she had cannabis in her system. Because we chose to use pharmaceuticals. No, not really. We chose to use cannabis instead of pharmaceuticals, which they wanted us to use. We got a doctor's note, a recommendation that January Miss Hemp could use cannabis during pregnancy. And I thought that applied to me too, so I used a lot of weed during pregnancy. And our daughter is now 4.5, and she's never been taken from us. We stood up. The hospital shared information with the CPS. They weren't supposed to. We got a lawyer. And we actually fought that. They never took our daughter from us after 2 months investigation. And I know vaccination is a part of that. It's almost like the cannabis community, you know? So do you, don't you? I know people that had healthy children. Their children have now been vaccinated. They seem to have issues. Our daughter, She's 4.5, has not been vaccinated yet. So this new law with vaccination is another one of those things, kind of like cannabis. It's that 1% of all the things we need to worry about. And so I'm curious, in the raise of hands, how many people, if you had a child today, would vaccinate their child when they were born? How many people in the room were vaccinated when they were children? Yeah. Did you know when we were children and we were vaccinated, there was like 7 vaccinations? And now when they vaccinate your child, it's like 47 different vaccinations. They're cramming into your child that's a brand new born. Now, before vaccinations were invented, like in the 1900s, 1800s, how long has humanity been alive on the planet? 10,000 years, 30,000 years, 100,000 years, and that without vaccinations. Our daughter's 4.5, has not been vaccinated. And I'm not saying people shouldn't or should. I'm just saying, me as a family, a father, and my wife, we have a choice, and it's a difficult choice because our daughter won't be able to go to school if we don't vaccinate her. Yeah. So we were thinking about the homeschooling, and we were wondering if each and every one of you would pick a day and come and teach her some shit, because I only know so much. Thank you. Because it takes a village to raise a child, and our children are our future. Like, we are the future of our parents, and we continue to add to what is about to come. So we are all faced with a lot of difficult situations. We are all faced with a lot of difficult numbers to add. And I just want to know, when are we going to find out when the winner is?
It's complicated math.
It is. It is. Going around the room, I'm going to point to some people. Just the question is, when was the first time you used cannabis? 11. 19? You've never used cannabis and you're 16. And that is awesome. And that's one of the things. But it's an awesome, serious situation, right? So our children using cannabis, their minds are in development, right? So, and this is one of the things. Now, maybe the ancients, cannabis seemed to be a part of our diets, and that's why we have cannabis receptors in our body. Well, we're still learning things right now about this plant, because it's finally coming to the point where people can actually step up and do studies and stuff where they couldn't before. So they believed lies. So I think it's amazing that we have a 16-year-old that's never smoked pot here at a NORML event, listening to every single one of you, because everything each and one of you say is into her brain, and now she's got to come up with her own mind about this plant and about what she'll choose to do when she's an adult and older. So do you see how it's not only difficult for us that are trying to change laws or make things better? Our children are the ones that are going to take over what we leave. So we really have to be careful how we decide to handle this whole situation. And I know one love doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't. I hate some people. But I try to be kind and happy and positive and spread and find whatever is good. Because even the people that I hate, there's amazing things about that person. And if we can learn to focus on what each particle of the universe, each soul, each initiative, what they all have to offer in the goodness, we'll all never agree. And if we can agree to disagree, that'll be a step in the right direction. Quit fighting over our own person, take steps forward and get that shit added so we can find out who the winner of this contest is. Ron, you're leaving. You're killing me out here. Man, and that's the host. I'm crashing on his floor to be here at this event. So tell a joke. So actually, January, Mrs. Hemp, she's actually a professional comedian. So I'm not allowed to tell jokes because comedians are the hardest, roughest crowd ever. Raise your hand for a second. Yeah, yeah. I was just curious how much power the guy with the hat had. Influence, inspire people, find the fun, and no matter what it is, always remember. I was on the airplane today and I read an article and it talked about luck. Are we born lucky or do we create our own luck? Because of the things that we believe. People that believe that they have good luck actually have good luck because they take extra risks. They believe they're lucky. They do it. Those that are unlucky question themselves all the time. They stop. They let other people keep them from doing their dreams or making these choices that could prevail them beyond. Stop questioning yourself and go with your heart and your gut, because there's some source that actually communicates us. All of us are nudged. This whole thing, me sitting here with you, I pinch myself every day because to me, it's surreal. Because I was told in the beginning, nobody will ever take me serious. Nobody will ever listen to what I say. I put on this hat. I had it on a month. I got a call to be a camera operator for a gig. I was asked to come and learn how to use the camera because I didn't really know how to use it. It was an older big camera and it was for some important gig, but I didn't know what it was. I showed up. It's in 2008 and it was the Light Up America tour. The first time Tommy Chong and Cheech Marion got together after their 25-year fight. They changed history. They're a part of history. They did this whole cannabis thing and they fought for 25 years and they got back together. And I got to be the main camera operator. I'm filming. It's Cheech and Chong here. There's another camera operator. Fox News comes in. They give me the tape. I put it in. I'm filming Tommy and Cheech. We go through all the news stations and everything. And I'm like, hey, guys, because I've been filming them all day. And I know you're not supposed to do this. And something nudged me and said, hey, ask for a picture. I said, hey, can I have a picture with you guys? They're like, okay. So I leave my camera. I go and I sit next to him. Somebody takes a picture. Tommy Chong's handler goes, hey, no. So Tommy looks like this. But it looks like he's looking at the big marijuana plant here. And they take the picture. Cheech is just sitting there like this. And I said, hey, Tommy, I created this character, Henry Hemp. Now, this is 7 years ago. I've only been Henry Hemp a month. It's not even really Henry Hemp yet. It's a conceptual idea. Tommy, Mr. Chong, I came up with this character, Henry Hemp. I'm going to represent the male energy, the hemp plant, because Peter the pothead can only reach so many people. But I want to educate and stimulate people about hemp. And then I can introduce him to my cousin, Mary Jane, who people think she's crazy, but she can actually help the world. And Tommy stops me. He goes, shh. He goes, nobody cares what you have to say, kid, until you become somebody. And here it is 7 years later, and here I am just being myself and silly. And for whatever reason, doing it and showing up and being it, I'm not famous or a star or anything. It's you guys who show me the appreciation, love, like, oh, man, I love you, wear the hat. And like I said, I'm getting mean mugs from stuff because I don't agree with everybody's views and people don't agree with my views. And I'm seeing people across the table as they're sitting here just looking at each other all mean and stuff like that. Each and every one of you that come to these events, come to there. If you talk to one person every day about cannabis and hemp, you are going to change the world. And one person at a time, it is going to change and it will be better. But we are going to have to deal with these initiatives that are here right now. They are the things that we have to be able to push the movement forward. And again, I'm just going to say, vote for them all. And one of them's going to win. Because you voted for them all. You're not like, I'm not going to vote for those three. And so 25% of the people vote for this one. 25% of the people vote for this one. 25% of the people, it's not even enough votes to get it on. But if there's one that enough people do, we'll actually make a change. So at least vote for all of them. I don't know. Did I mention that I just wanted them to add numbers and tell me who the winner is? I started talking. Thanks.
Whatever you're
Thanks for letting me spiral downwards.
Oh, thank you so much for filling in. Henry Hemp, everybody. You've been an amazing guest host. I love it. Okay, so me and Doc Fry painstakingly added it and re-added it and learned how to use a smartphone calculator all at the same time. So we're going to start with, and it's kind of apparent what prizes should go to who, so we're just doing it this way because, like, one of the people has edibles, so they don't need them. So we're going to start off with the best female costume, which goes to Mel. And the prize prize that's going to you is the 3 set of the Henry Hemp comics signed, the full set.
So yeah, I'm all out of number ones because they were done
So
in
she's gonna
2012.
be the only one
I
here that
saved
gets the number 1.
So she gets issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. It's very rare to have all 3 of them.
Now it was a close race, only a matter of 3 points difference between the Bishop and Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson did win in the end. And Willie, you've won an original painting of Henry Hemp, not licensed by the comic company, but he may sign it on the back. Done by Patricia Savala.
And thank you for this award, but I want to let you know it was all rigged, man. It's all rigged.
We painstakingly added. There was no. Okay. And won over 15 points over everybody else. So we gave her the overall. Oh, I gave it away. Overall. And according to Doc Fry, she spent 15 hours on her costume. And so we're going to award the $100 edibles basket from Heavenly Sweet. Thank you. A round of applause for Heavenly Sweet. That can be picked up at River City, Phoenix to Sue Coloma. Woo! Thank you so much for dressing up and making this a fun party, you guys. Everybody, please make sure you're spreading BOPE. Especially, we could use more BOPE on the internet. So,
did you guys get your BOPE today? Some of you haven't seen, and this is what it is. You'll be sharing love and enlighten with somebody, and they'll walk away mad. I'm just trying to share a BOPE. What it is, it's a BOPE. It's a bolt of positive energy.
if you took the trouble to make a costume, come get in front of the camera real quick. The podcast dumped out right before the cameras on the power camera, costume and camera. Come over here in front of Keith real quick. That's it for this meeting. We'll have our second Wednesday of November. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Boom.